Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to G Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And yeah, these are the current stats right now. It's August 21st, 2019, and about 5:45 p.m. And it's down to 101 degrees, both inside and outside, except in my bedroom, where it was down to 78 with the air conditioner running. And I just got up from a nice cool nap because the sun beat the heck out of me. All right, with that, I want to start off today's video with a thank you to the first three people so far who have donated to my transmission expense and van repairs. They are very good donations. They were more than I would have expected. And I'll have that same pay me PayPal address in the description below this video and in the comment section again today. Yeah, so if there's still anybody out there who would like to send a donation, even $1 or $2, everything helps. It took a big chunk of my change. I put it on a credit card, but that's going to raise my credit card payments to probably close to $300 a month. So that extra $300 a month is more than what I used to pay for the van. But of course, I checked into a new van while I was there having my old van repaired, and those things now are 40 grand. Holy smokes. So yeah, I'm not in the position right now to take on a $40,000 van and 5 years of really high payments every month and full coverage insurance because it's not paid off. Things like that are not in my favor. So anyway, thank you to those three people that did jump right on the gun and send money to my pay me account. That's going to come in handy. I'm going to save it because I know the bills are coming, and we'll move on. All right, next in line, Paul Broderick. I hope I pronounced that correctly. He's from New Zealand. He could pronounce it Broderick or Broderick, one way or the other. I hope I got it right, and we'll skip past that name thing and go to his question. And his question was about dump loads. And he was trying to get rid of the hybrid controller that he had. And I'll get in here and show you what we're talking about. He had this hybrid controller, or this one of the two. And he couldn't get that to work with his wind turbine. So this is my dump load system, and he said that he built one or made one. Well, I went online to see if I could find this, and apparently nobody sells these anymore, because I got this from eBay. I don't know, it might still be available on Craigslist or Amazon or some of those others, but yeah, these dump load controllers are not like a PWM controller. And see, that's a PWM controller right there. All right, and this is a 30 amp. Okay, now Windy Nation, I made this one. I got this one. I ordered some solar panels from them. Now the difference is this unit is a PWM solar charge controller, but it's specially set up for dump load. All the settings are preset inside of here. There are no settings, as you can see. There's no button to press to make any settings. Like these has 3 buttons here. Okay, so let's get this back to where it is. And there we go. We're back to charging. All right. But Yeah, you can change settings on that, but on this one you can't. And this one has one button right there, and all this button does is turn on the solenoid, or contact the solenoid to send power to the dump load. Okay, so I don't know. He said he put his together with a PWM controller. I'm not absolutely sure how to set that up for you. I know there's a way that you can set it. Now this, I think, is set so that when the batteries, because it's connected to batteries, it's not connected directly to solar or wind, it just connects to the batteries. And if the batteries get up to 14 volts, then this thing is supposed to kick on at 14 or 14.2, somewhere in that range. And it doesn't kick on, it actually activates the solenoid, and it sends power through these wires and over to the dump load system. And yeah, you should fuse that along the way. Now, they say to fuse it on the negative line. I've never fused things on the negative line. That's a return line, so I always do it on the positive line, but so far it's been working okay for me. Okay, this is the paperwork that came with it, and I'm using a 12-volt system, so this is the one I'm using. And Paul, if you let me know if you've got the 48-volt system, 24-volt system, or 12-volt system, whatever one you're using, I'll be glad to make a close-up of this and send you the wiring diagram of exactly how it's wired. And on the solenoid, you have two connections. Okay, you have the cut mode lugs are actually normally closed position, and they open. That's at the bottom of this thing. The dump or diversion side of the dump mode plugs are on the sides. If you're going to use cut mode, it says to use those only for 12 and 24 volt systems. Use on higher voltage, it cause arcing. Okay, I don't use those. I don't need to cut anything off. I don't want to do that. That would probably be if you had a DC turbine or PMG. You could run the PMG through there so it would cut it and open it. Although everybody I've talked to says, no, don't ever let a PMA or a PMG free wind, because it'll damage the stator. So I will give you a close-up of this if you want it, Paul. Just leave your message in my comments, and we'll go to that, all right? I'm going to be cleaning up all of this soon. I'm waiting for the temperatures to go down, because even just standing in this room right now, I keep the door open during the day to let it cool down in here. But just standing in this room right now, it's really hot in here because of all of the electronics running and the fans turning and trying to move the heat around in here. So, yeah, I've got a bunch of controllers here. That's a Harbor Freight 100 watt panel controller. And as you can see, I took the plug, normally plugs in there. I took the plug off and I put the hard wires straight into the bottom. Same thing with this one. This is the newest one that I just bought, but this one I've got it plugged in right now. That's because I'm going to be moving this. This one is not for, not going to stay here. It's not for these batteries. I'm just utilizing it while I've got it. But that one is going to end up on top of the new shop roof, so that I have the solar power in there. And I'll run a bunch of lighting off of it, so the lighting will run off of, that's a Harbor Freight absorbed glass mat, an AGM battery, and it's 35 amp hour. It's a nice little thing compared to the big things that I'm using. And you can tip those over and all of that. I just have some jumpers on it right now, just so that it stays charged through the normal day with the solar running in here. If anybody needs any answers or any questions answered about any of this setup, let me know. Now these are the two new mppt solar chargers that I got, and these are I forget, I think they're like 1,000 watt controllers, and they've got the USB ports in them, so that's pretty cool too. And I'll be taking everything out of here, and all of these controllers are all going to come out, and these two are going to replace everything. So I'll have half of my solar panels going into one of them, cutting it off at its max input, and then I'll have the other one handling whatever's left after that. And then I'll still use the same bars that I have for the panels coming in, but I'll separate them in the center so they don't have the jumper running across there in the center. So one set of panels will come into one block, one set of panels into the other block, and then over to one controller or the other controller. And then as I add panels to my solar system, then I will have more power than what I really ever need, but I'll have just two controllers handling the whole set instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in here. All right, so that's going to clean things up in here. But again, I'm going to wait until the temperatures cool down around here, and I have to do this at night, working with just the battery lights. I'll have one of the battery lights plugged in like this one here, going up to that outlet right there, and I'll be working in here after dark so that the solar panels are all not under load at the time. You don't want to connect and disconnect solar panels under load. That's a no-no. And of course, remember my earlier videos, I told everybody you always connect the battery first when you're going into the up connection, and you always disconnect the battery last when you're going in the down connection. So I have to disconnect the solar panels from my system first, and then I could disconnect batteries from my systems here on all of these. Now, I'll be using probably like this Windy Nation or one of these hybrids, these mppt hybrids. I'll be using one of those on the that new trailer that I got when I set that up, or I may just use a Harbor Freight one. One way or the other, I'm going to get solar on that new trailer and make it more appealing to anybody who wants to buy that. Okay, we got through that. Let's move on because we're getting up at 13 minutes here. All right, the heat here has been hot. We got that heat wave going here, and yeah, it's been hot. While I'm walking over, I'm going to say I did hear from Forever North Sanctuary. I got an email from him today, so actually a comment from him today from one of my older videos, and he said that he's almost got his shelter built. He needs a few more pieces of lumber. He'll be picking those up this weekend and getting that complete. So I'll be looking forward to see his walkthrough video when he gets that all put together. All right. The other thing I did when I came over is I did fill up the water tank and drain it on there and clean it out and sanitize it. And now I've got fresh water in it now. I also filled the water tank on this one. And I marked all of my window screens here in the bottom corners. Each one, that's dining room left, dining room right. And I got the other ones marked on the other side. So I'll be pulling those off tomorrow and getting the new ones, the new screens. I'll rescreen those inside the container. I don't think anybody needs to see a video on how to rescreen. It's pretty easy stuff, and I'm sure there's 1,000 videos already out there about it. All right, bag of concrete, 60-pound bag, 30 pounds for each of the handrails poles. That's going to go in over there for the motorhome back door, so that my friend can get up and down the stairs with something to hold on to. Got my 2x12 by 10s here, 2 of them, and these are going to go up onto the shelving tomorrow also. These 2x3s are going to get cut, and on my Harbor Freight solar panels that are over there on the ground, with those metal connectors in between them, from me tilting them back and forth through the day for the sun. One of them has already started cracking the plastic housing of the solar panel right where one of the screws is, because they're not designed to be moved like that. So I'm going to be putting a straight board underneath both ends of that, and I'll put some nice truss head screws through there to hold them on there nice and solid, so they won't be flimsy and rock back and forth anymore on those little metal connectors. Then I'll save those little metal connectors for something else when I need to fabricate something down the line. All right, that's about it. I'm going to get my shelving up there first tomorrow and early in the morning, clean off that table and get my screens all rescreened, and I'll show you the finished products on those. But if anybody wants to see how rescreening is done, then leave that in tonight's comments so that I know that I have to set up my tripod and my camera tomorrow to videotape the screens, or doing the screens. All right, that's it for today, everybody. G-Bear reminding you, don't forget to give me a thumbs up down there and share, and download this video if you want to and send it to friends, things like that. And also don't forget to look in the description and the comment section. I'll have that link to the PayMe PayPal account for more donations if anybody is still interested in donating. Some other people don't want to use PayPal, don't have a PayPal account. It's real easy to set up. All you have to do is link it to your bank account, whether it's checking or savings. And it's a good thing to have, because if you're sending payments to anybody online or anything like that, if you use PayPal, you are protected. Your payments are protected. So it's a good thing to have. It's safer than checks or giving out any type of information like that. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want to just start a P.O. box, because everybody's going to be sending checks and money orders, which means that I have to give up personal information for them to do that. And on social media, even on YouTube, giving up personal information is never a good thing. So I'm going to talk with my banker and see if there's some way that I can have just an account number put in the pay to line on those. And I'll do that probably tomorrow when I get up. I'll give them a call over at the bank and see what they can do about that. That's it, everybody. G-Bear signing off.